everybody. It's Kelly from Chicago. How are you today? So I've got my beautiful mom, Dawn, and my business partner here, and we are going to be doing a great long layer haircut for you. I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of the salon as I go through the video and talk about the haircut. But while I'm sectioning Dawn off, I'd like to introduce Jude, who is our camera girl. She is our salon coordinator. And she's going to give you a quick tour of the salon. And then I'll section, get ready, and then we'll get started. So if you have any questions, or if the volume's not right, just let us know and we'll adjust. Alright, so there you go, Jude.
Alright. Hey guys, I hope everybody is staying sane during this quarantine. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the salon. So these are all of the different products that we have. This is our front desk. These are all of our stations for the stylists. And then we do have an assistant station over here. And then we have our little changing rooms, a wax room, and this is our shampoo and color area. Alright, Kelly, I'm coming back to you. Alrighties, I have a question. How are you sectioning Dawn's hair for this haircut right now?
So what we're going to do is, Dawn has had, when was the last time you had a haircut? Okay, so it's been a while. So the thing that COVID did for Dawn is her hair got long, which was great. And I think that I'm going to keep the length, but I want to take a lot of the weight out. So we're going to go with more of some square layering that will remove a lot of the bulk, but I will maintain, like to go in towards the end of the haircut with the razor, because I want to create more of a soft flavor. So that's how we're going to start there. We're going to do it from the top, right here, the crown. We're going to go all the way down. The key with, Dawn has super thick hair, and she's got really, really good texture. It's got a little bit of a wave. As a matter of fact, when did you have the American wave? Dawn had the American wave. That was awesome. I had it last year. It was last year. And I think it's time to maybe get another one. Yeah. I love it this summer. Okay.
What do you, when you have the American wave, like how do you like your everyday like normal hair look? Like what would you do?
When I get the wave, I literally shampoo, condition, and then I towel dry it and I put the full product in from a rose that works really well for me, and I go.
Okay.
Alright, so we've sectioned everything from the top of the crown and forward. We sectioned all of that away. And I'm going to actually be using, while I go through the haircut, the Hydro Mist. That's actually my favorite product in the entire line. I love it because
They say they can't hear us.
They can't hear?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, sorry guys. Okay, so I'll try and talk a lot louder for you. Sorry about that. Alright, I'm using the Hydro Mist, alright, and that's my favorite product. And what I'm going to do is take a pivotal parting,
Guys, just to let you know, our AC is actually off. I don't know why it's so noisy. I'm sorry.
so we want to make sure, whenever we're cutting, that we keep, especially when we're doing a square shape, it's really important, and something I've always learned from some of my best teachers, is all about your posture. You need to keep your posture nice and straight, and because we're going to be cutting square, I'm going to be directly working everything back towards me, okay?
Oh, Liz Daniels says hi. Hi, Liz. By the way, if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know and I'll go ahead and read them off to Kelly and she can answer as many as she can for you.
So I'm taking my first section and I'm going to, what length I want. So I want to take quite a bit off in the interior, okay? But I'm letting the rest, this part, the exterior, drop out. Make sure you keep your elbow nice and straight. Do not get lazy with it.
Hi, Helen.
Hey, Helen. So this will be your guide.
Kelly, do you want to tell us like your other favorite products by Rojo that maybe like for people who have thin hair?
You know what? I think I love the protective spray. I love that. And the mousse, I love for people that have, a little bit of thinner, thinner hair, finer hair.
The
That
foam
seems
volume?
I think that foam volume, that is the best selling Rojo product.
Is
That
it?
and Hydro.
I just like it because I also like it because when I blow dry people, I feel like a lot of like volume products get sticky and theirs doesn't get sticky at all.
No, it doesn't.
And you can use as much as you want to.
And I think, like with Dawn's hair, we use what did we use, the Shine?
Yeah, we use the Shine Lux.
Shine Lux shampoo, which is very. Okay, I am actually, as I'm working towards the front here, I'm over-directing everything back, keeping it nice and square. Again, I'm over-directing because I would like to maintain the length. Use a little Hydro Mist. So, oh, sorry. All right. So, anyway, one of the things that I want to kind of talk a little bit about is my vision boards. And I'm going to have Jude kind of zoom in on them for you. I did a little one right there. And I do these vision boards just to keep me inspired. We've all been out of work for a long time, and it keeps me motivated. I get my inspiration from fashion, obviously from hair.
Do you want to tell us what this board is?
So yeah, this board is when I got back from the first expo that I went to before Rojo, which was a few years ago. And I was just taking pictures with my phone because I just loved everything about that whole experience and going there. And I'll get into a little bit how we met Nick. But that was my first time, and I feel like I got home and I just wanted to take the images, put them up, and I was able to show our team because not everybody was able to go. So I just wanted to bring back what I thought was really cool, and put it up on a board.
Okay, so we have Xavier asking, Rojo students here, I was wondering if you have any tips on trying not to overlayer a client's hair, things to keep in mind.
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, you want to, I don't want to say obviously, let me rephrase that. You want to think about your guests, your clients' texture of hair. So if you're working with somebody with finer hair, you obviously do not want to overlayer it. It also depends on what shape you're going for. But it's always good to just stay, you can always cut more hair off, so it's just important to remember, take it easy, take it slow, and just make sure you pay attention to what kind of texture your client has.
We're getting a lot of love on the boards.
So, I want to talk a little bit about how we met Nick. It was a few years ago through our very close friend, Alex Milano.
Hold on.
And he's a great business coach. He's great to go to, great teacher. And he introduced Dawn and I to Nick. We had,
Want to talk about the event we had?
we had a launch party here when we brought on the products. I don't know if you did you see the products?
Mhm.
The Almar? Okay. So Nick came here, on the evening.
We're getting a lot of it's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk louder.
Sorry guys, we'll try and talk louder. I feel like I'm screaming, but that's okay. All right, so Nick came here a few years ago. We launched an evening here where we hosted other hairdressers from all over Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. And they came and met him. He was here for a few hours, and I knew after meeting him the first time that I wanted to get connected more with the company. And I did. So I flew out for the expo, and then we had an Arojo Ambassador the art team training, and that's where I was introduced to the razor. Because my background is from Sassoons, and I've been doing hair about 28 years. We've actually had the salon open for 14 years. It'll be 14. And Dawn's background, nice blend between both of our backgrounds. Went to the expo, fell in love with the whole culture of the company, and I learned that I had to start getting over my fear of using a razor, and had a great class with Stephen Adams and Derek Anthony. They were really inspirational to me. And after I got back, I just started practicing and getting more comfortable with using it. Right now I'm actually cross-checking everything that I did in the back. Again, we kept everything really nice and square. She still maintained her length. Now we're going to work towards the front.
Do you guys want to talk about why you decided to start a business with your sister?
Wow.
We're coming from a family business, so that was very natural to us. Like our father worked with family, his brothers for years, and so it was just a really natural thing for us to think that we could do it together. We have a lot of people that are like, I can never work with my sister or my brother, but it's really natural to us. I don't trust anybody more. And so it's worked for us.
Okay, so I have a question from Xavier again. He said, did you have any challenges reopening? Is there anything different to your normal day? How are clients making sure that they feel safe in the salon?
Excellent question. And Xavier, we are actually opening our salon June 1st. We have been super busy during the quarantine. We've actually been quarantined together, so we've been keeping it safe. That's why she's my model. But we've been working really hard trying to prepare the salon for the team. We have a wonderful team of people that work here, and our guests that are going to be coming in. So we got our masks. We cleared the salon. Got rid of a ton of stuff that was just on the tables. We got rid of the magazines. We are not going to be serving coffee and drinks. We're going to be having bottled water. What else? Obviously, we have to keep a social distance, 6 feet apart. So we were a salon that was open only 5 days a week, and now we're going to be open 7. And we had to split the shifts because we have quite a few people that work here. So in doing that, we have to make sure everybody can work their hours. So I hope
there's only so many people that are going to be allowed in the salon at one time due to the guidelines that we believe are going to happen. So We're 7 days a week we're gonna be extending our hours because obviously it's gonna be very, everybody wants to get in. But it's going to, I think all salons are going to look a little different here in the beginning as they reopen. And it's just our goal to communicate with our clients, to communicate with our team. We've been doing weekly meetings with our team still over Zoom. And everybody's got ideas and suggestions, which is great. And we just want everybody to feel safe and welcome. And so we're preparing the best we can. I think it's going to, when we reopen, you prepare as best that you can, but also knowing, you have to flow with it a little bit. Because we've never done this way before.
Yeah, this is a whole new normal that we're gonna be entering. And I think the key is to just not put so much pressure on yourself. There's enough pressure on everybody right now in the world, and I think you can just remember to take some deep breaths and do the best that you can. I think people will find themselves in a place of, I think if anything that COVID hopefully has taught us is to be a little bit more patient, and I'm certainly humbled by it, that's for sure. Just to talk a little bit about what I just did with this area, when I finished the back, I literally just came in through the sides and I over-directed everything back again because I wanted to keep the length. So I over-directed everything back, keeping it nice and square, just to remove when I was working with internal layering, okay? So now we're gonna go in through the top. And again, keeping your sections nice and clean. She's got super thick hair, so it's really important not to take thick sections. You're gonna put everything straight up. This will be the guide for the top.
So what have you guys been doing to keep yourself sane during quarantine and still inspired to do hair?
There's been so many great, obviously platforms like this with the Arrojo ambassadors. It's great to see all the education. So I've been watching a lot of videos. More, to be honest with you, I didn't have as much time to do that and keep in touch. Yeah. But also, it's preparing to order, so preparing to open. So there's a whole plethora of things as salon owners that you still have to do, even while you're closed.
Yeah, that is for sure. I think, clearly besides my vision boards, I think, I agree with Dawn. I have been watching every week, and I have to say this, I want to give Nick a shout out because he's been such an advocate for our industry, and I actually look forward to every Thursday that he does his locker room chats or his Brooklyn Lives, and he's talking us through like a major pandemic and making us feel a little bit more connected as a whole in the industry, because it's easy to get yourself, your mental state, in a negative space if you're thinking too much about something. So I really appreciate that he comes on. He does his Nick at Night. He does his, like I said, every Thursday, getting up and talking to everybody. And, I think that's super important. And I love that he's created this platform for everybody to come together and be able to share their knowledge and just put it out there. I have been watching everybody. I've got my friends from Chicago, Liz, Patrick, and Alex, who, it's just so fun. I used to work with Patrick and Alex to just see, what they're up to. Liz is an amazing hairdresser. And, it's so cool to watch the people from New York that work at Arrojo, and, Amy that was on, and Morgan, Steven, So it's really great. And I know that education is key. I mean, I've been an educator, not just for Rojo, but, teaching assistants in salons that I've worked at before we owned our own salon. Education is key. So I really feel like if you are somebody that feels like you know it all, it's maybe time to get out. Because you're always learning, no matter how long you've been doing it.
Kelly, do you have any favorite haircuts?
Do I have any favorite haircuts?
Mm-hmm. Like, what's your favorite haircut to do? This is from Xavier.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Xavier. Good questions. I don't have so much. I don't really have a favorite. I love mixing it up. Like what I'm going to do today. Like I'm using my shears for part of the haircut, and then I'm going to go in with a razor. So I like doing things like that. I love actually doing a lot of classic bob work. That is something I love, the graduation and classic bobs. I think those are, if I had to pick, those would be my two favorites. So now that I did the top, we cut everything square, bringing everything straight up. I over-directed everything back to my guideline. And now, because we cut a square shape, where the head rounds up, there's going to be a corner, okay? So what I want to do, I don't want to cut that corner off. I just want to slightly round it.
So answering Xavier's question, we charge by the service. We do not charge about like how long the process is, unless it's a color. Like say if somebody has like a really, really long hair and they want a balayage, it might be a little bit more than $155.
I don't know what everybody else has been doing, but I'm really grateful that the weather is getting better because I've been able to start running again. I'm a huge swimmer and I cannot swim.
The gyms aren't
The
open.
gyms aren't open here, and I'm really excited for that stuff to open. I'm excited just for the restaurants to get going. It's such an interesting time right now. Everything's changing, as we all know that, but I think there's going to be a new way of looking at things.
Liz wants to know, what are you most excited about when life goes back to normal?
What am I? Honestly, seeing people.
Just being able to be around.
Yeah, I miss
And also, like, what are you excited about when the salon reopens too?
my clients. I have a really great relationship with a lot of the people that I see day to day. Not just the team. I really miss our team, but just the conversations. The creativity. That's what I miss the most.
Alex wants to know, or I'm going to show Alex real quick the pictures that Kelly did. Kelly, let's talk about real quick. Talk really loud so they can hear you too. Tell us about the pictures and what they are and why we have them.
Can you hear me? Can they hear me if I'm breaking?
I don't know. Can you guys hear Kelly? She's
All right. So if you walk around and show them the pictures, I think there's two more than that.
Yeah.
I can explain it so I'm not screaming for them.
I'm going to walk as fast as I can without moving the camera too much. And then we have these. And then I'm going to just show these ones too because these are all of our beautiful clients. Okay. Okay, now we'll talk about your photo shoot that you did.
Okay. So back in November, I was lucky enough to be asked by my dear friend, who's a makeup artist, Josh Penny, and he had a good friend who's a very, very talented fashion designer who I adore. We did Anthony was the one that was so kind, and he started this organization called COVID. So he we sent all of our team handmade masks. We had a team of sewers. They've distributed, I think, over 20,000 masks all over New York and Chicago to all the doctors, health workers, social workers, us. So many people. Anyway, so I was able to do a photo shoot because Anthony was doing his new collection. So I did not take those pictures. I did all the hair for the photo shoot. Josh did the makeup. Anna Komarov, very amazing photographer here in Chicago, did the photography. And so while we were closed and working on stuff for the business, we decided to refresh the salon. Like we paint, put new images up. We're a salon that does photo shoots every couple of years. So this was...
I showed them our pictures in
you
the back
saw-
of our beautiful
yes, they're
clients.
all over, and I mean, there's so many that we couldn't put up, but we just did a little bit of a collage and just changed the look of the salon. So I'm actually now going in with my razor, got my Erosion razor. And that is one thing I also want to say with the Erosion company that I love is all the, the combs, the clips, the blow dryers, all the equipment that they supply, that they have is phenomenal. So right now, I just want to work the outline. So the interior is all done. What we're going to do...
Well, thank you, Xavier. I said we have a beautiful family.
Thank you so much. So with the razor,
Hair,
what did she say?
hair before
Before?
the hair.
Yeah, exactly. And because I want to create, again, not such a solid, line. I want it softer.
What's the difference between cutting with a razor and shears? Like, what does it do to the hair?
Nick actually has a really great saying that I gravitated towards that I love, and it really makes sense. Shears, when you're cutting with shears, it's like architecture, right? You're like building something like with architecture, and with a razor, it's like you're sculpting. So it's a different effect, obviously. You can get, certainly, with working with shears, you're going to be, you can do point cutting, you can do all slicing with your shears, but the razor itself just gives it, to me, this fresh, like, soft look to the hair. That's what I think. Do you like it when I put it with the razor? Yes. But you know what? I'm still practicing, and I actually cannot wait to get on a plane and head back to New York and take another razor class. Again, I can work with it, and
Do you actually mind showing us how you're holding the razor too?
right.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying is I'm really excited because we can actually start traveling again, and I just can't wait to head out to Erosion, take more classes, perfect my craft more and more. I think, again, I'll always say it, you just never stop learning, so I look forward to going back to Erosion and brushing up. And I know, like last year, Dawn went with me to our first, that was the first Inspired event. That was back, I believe, in October, right? Yeah. That was very different from the expo and that I had first gone to. And I got so much out of the Inspired event. I didn't think it could get better than the expo, but I really loved the Inspired event. I mean, what would you say you took from it?
I thought it was great because it was a very intimate event and it just was about re-energizing and kind of refilling, your tank. you know, because it's really easy for, everybody has so many things going on all the time. And so it was nice to just have a few days to just hear different stories, not just about hair, but just about life. And it was like nothing short of inspiring. So, yeah.
And again, it was a great way to connect with our friends and meet new people from across the board, from everywhere. Just want to touch base a little bit about the Hydro Mist. I'm using that because I really want to make sure I'm keeping the hair damp when I'm working with the razor. Obviously, you want to make sure you always have a fresh blade with your guys to mute every haircut. I personally like to change it every haircut, but I think you can get like 2 to 3 haircuts out of it. So now that we've got the outline done, if you can see, Jude, if you wanted to show it, it's a little bit more broken up and it's not so solid. But yet we took a lot of that weight out in here, okay? So now I'm just going to do a little bit of face folding with it and then work her fringe. I think Dawn's signature look is her fringe.
I can't live without a friend anymore.
Xavier wants to know, how would you let your clients know that you want to charge up your services by not upsetting them, like by upping the prices?
Anytime we've done a price increase, you just give the warning, and I think it's all in your wording. You can't be scared, you know, because it takes a lot of education. It takes, you know, hairdressers deserve price increases, and salons need to do price increases to keep up. And it'll continue to do that, you know, it's just kind of the nature. But you have to be able to communicate that. And I really, whenever we've done a price increase, we're not price gouging, we're doing it as responsibly as possible. And I think as long as you're communicating it and not like price gouging people, we never really have complaints.
What would you say the most that we ever went up by dollar prices?
$5.
Okay. Craig, by the way, I'm wearing a mask. Don't worry. They've been isolated together during this entire time. But I have a mask on, don't worry. That Anthony designed for me. Thank you. Okay, and then Xavier also wants to say, because there's a lot of salons that are willing to charge more to make sure their salons up to date with payment and products. Yeah, I mean, basically the same thing that Dawn said. Like, you just want to, I mean, people have to be understanding. Prices go up in everything. So, yeah, it's just a world works.
All right, so what we're doing in the front here is again, I want to maintain the length, but I want to create a little bit of softness around. Dawn has really pretty eyes and cheekbones.
Yeah.
She does. Anyway, so I want to accentuate that a little bit, okay? And again, working with the razor, coming just small movements, air before hair.
Okay, so I have a question. What would happen if you razor cutted somebody with like dry, like not super damp hair? Like, what would happen to the?
Go ahead, I'm so sorry. What?
Oh, sorry. Well, no, that was a question. Like, what would happen if you like dry cut somebody with a razor? What would happen to the hair?
No, you can't. Of course you can. Just make sure your blade's really fresh. You know, I think for me, I like cutting with it damp. That's my preference, but of course you can do both. But just make sure your blade is new. As I'm wrapping up, I'm going to now cut the fringe, and I want to do something slightly asymmetrical, not a lot, not a lot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, okay, so we're going to do just a slight, just, again, not too much, but I want to do like a little bit of a peekaboo with her fringe. So that, we go a little bit shorter to longer. Is that okay? Okay.
I haven't done a consultation with you in years.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Okay. Do you have any other question right now, or good?
We are all good.
Okay, good. Alright. Very little bit, not crazy here. Just very slightly. Angling my fingers, going from short to long. Taking very small sections, especially working the fringe, because you do not want to cut too much off from it. And then I do want to talk a little bit about this quote that when I was at the Arrojo ambassador art, team training, this was a couple years ago, Derek Anthony and Stephen Adams were doing a lot of it. Carmelo and Palmer, they were there teaching us, and it was, again, incredible. And I think I actually wrote it word for word. I just stopped there because Derek had actually when he was doing his razor aerobics. Oh, can you not read my writing?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Right. When he was actually teaching us about the razor, one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was most people are afraid to use the razor, but are curious and excited to learn a new technique with a new tool. And if you are worried about cutting yourself and you think you are going to cut yourself, you will unintentionally will that to happen. And it could not be more right, because I think a lot of times we can be afraid to try things that obviously are foreign to us. I wasn't used to using a razor. And I did cut myself, so it was so right. So I think it's really important to try to move past your fear of things, Would you say even with your Dawn, Dawn's a colorist, by the way, I'm a stylist here, we compartmentalize. So would you say, yeah, I really noticed because it's really easy to get in the habit, even when you're formulating color, right, to have your go-to formulas and they work and they're amazing and, you can adjust them a little bit, but, we use Goldwell colors primarily at the salon, and so I've taken a lot of Goldwell Academy classes. We've had educators here for the team, and I think it's really, I've noticed myself just rethinking how I formulate color. Yeah. And, it's all salons, sometimes it happens where you're running low on color and, it's kind of fun to make the colors, right. And so,
You're like a little chemist.
you are, but it's just kind of thinking of things in a different way, and just kind of
Totally.
approaching it in a different way. I always like to, especially when I'm boiling, maybe try new techniques or new patterns or, I try and step outside my box.
And you do. You do.
And I've noticed, I've been doing hair color for 14 years, not 15 years.
Yeah.
So in the last couple of years, I've just noticed I've been more interested in pushing myself.
And
right before. Yeah, totally.
you gotta challenge yourself.
Sorry. What did I do to you?
Kelly, I have one question.
Yes.
What is your favorite tool to work with on any normal day basis?
My favorite tool?
Mm-hmm.
My shears.
She is.
Yeah, I love my shears.
want to talk about your shears and where
Yeah,
you
these
got
are
them?
Matsuzakis.
No, see them quick.
I don't know if we could see the
I don't
name.
think, no, there's not like
I do Hikari, Matsuzakis. I've always been open to trying new tools, but those are usually my go-tos. So that's my favorite. We're coming close to finishing her, but one of the things that I know works for Dawn in her hair texture is when I do a little bit of freehand work. So one of the things that I like to do, and it's really important to kind of step away, look at your shape. You can see that the layering has obviously lightened her up, but I feel like there's a little bit of heaviness right in here, a little bit of excess weight that I can get rid of. So I'm just gonna take sections in that area, and what I'd like to do is twist it.
I love when you do this with your shoes.
Oh, thanks. And then I just take with my shears, I don't open the blade too much, very lightly, and I just gently glide it down that section, because what that will do is take the weight out, but you don't lose the length. And that creates a little bit more movement again through her hair.
What's the difference between this and using your texturizing scissors?
I think for me, I have more control when I'm working this way. You know, there's nothing wrong with the thinning shears, but I like doing it this way because I just, like I said, have more control. And then what we're gonna do is, we're not gonna be blow drying because I want her texture to just come out naturally. We're gonna use a little bit of the hair gel mixed with the shine oil.
The Shine-Lux. So we used all of the Shine-Lux on Dawn today. This is the brand, or the line of the Rojo. And then we're going to use this.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of like that one time.
That
One time when I was in high school, Kelly, I got an awful haircut. Like I really did, and I thought it looked cute. Like I'm 15-year-old, 14-year-old, things for her. So anyway, Kelly was, freshly cutting hair, and we were in our parents' basement, and she was like, you need a haircut. And I said, okay. Don't change it. Like, of course, it was like, I just want a half an inch cut off. Like, I just, like, an inch top, don't mess with my hair. And I had all one length hair, which was awful because I have such thick hair. And Kelly literally turned the chair, and she's talking to me, and we're just talking. And all of a sudden, she turns the chair, and she had cut 6 inches off of my hair and gave me my fringe for the first time. And I was crying, and I was like, I will never talk to you again.
Right.
How could you do this to me? And she gave me an A-line bob, which I was like, first of all, I didn't know what that was. And I turned, and she was actually taking the 6 inches of hair and hiding it in her pocket so that I didn't see it on the floor. Because, of course, well, how could you not know? And she was like, no, it's fine, And I just was caught up in, the conversation. But yeah, she hid the hair in her pocket and gave me a friend. And I was like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I went to school the next day, like,
But
mortified,
who
and
rocks the
everybody
fringe
was like,
now?
Your hair looks so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up being, it did end up being my favorite haircut.
Right.
Really done. So that's why I don't do competitions anymore. She knows my limits, but
Yeah, that was
Prove
so
me
fun.
wrong.
It was the fashion.
whatever.
So I have someone asking, the texturizing shears make the hair frizzy. Does this technique that you were doing, the twist, does that make the hair frizzy as also?
They think the things you're making are frizzy? Is that what they think?
Yeah.
Okay. I
But does this, the technique,
this
the
technique?
Yeah,
technique?
no.
I don't think so. She's cut my hair like this 100 times, and I can't say
Right.
it's made up for you.
Right. And I think, I'm sure whoever that is, I'm sure your shears are awesome, but I would just make sure to invest in a good pair of fitting shears. How they're made makes a huge difference. And again, with that, I feel like I have more control of where I'm cutting and how I'm slicing into the hair. So I'm keeping the integrity of the hair. So I hope that helps.
Stephanie, don't worry, I have a mask on. They've been social distancing or isolating together, so, but I have my mask on, so don't worry.
We're sisters, and yeah, so we've been together a lot. So we're okay.
In quarantine.
We haven't been quarantined.
How is that going?
Oh yeah, that's great. It's really fun.
I love when we have our Zooms and you guys are in separate rooms. I hear Charlie.
So what I just did was I like to cocktail this up a little bit. I'm using the Erojo hair gel.
How much are you using?
I actually am reapplying some more. So I'm using a little bit, I use this much, a little over a quarter size, because Dawn has a ton of hair. And then I'm just gonna put a couple pumps. I put like 3 pumps of the Shine Lux oil.
Cousin Dave and Michelle, say hi.
Hey! All right. So we're just,
How are you applying it to the hair, by the way? Because I know some people always have a hard time applying products to hair because they always get scared that they're going to add too much to the roots.
you can always just start, I knew how much I was using, so I know where I was going, but you can always start underneath. That seems to work for a lot of people. And then work your way in through the top instead of putting it right on the top. Now that she's all cut, I put the product in, I'm combing it through, and then what I'd like to do with people that are gonna like be rough is take some sections and
Are you going to diffuse it or are you going to let it air
I'm gonna
dry?
let her air dry. That's another big thing that people have been talking about, whether or not salons are gonna be able to blow dry. Our governor here hasn't given us the answer to that. There's other things that we know we have, but I'm not sure on blow dry yet. So thank God it's warmer weather. So yeah, just doing a little bit of twisting, and then just kind of letting your fingers go in there and loosen it up a little bit. And obviously, yes, you can diffuse this cooler setting.
And how would you... No. Do you have it like full blast or...
Whenever I'm diffusing here, I don't put it on full blast, because I don't, well, you know, I just want to have, again, more control of where I'm at. You know. So, little recap, that was our nice square long layer with a very, I kept her fringe on the longer side for her so she wouldn't freak out, and, you know, opened up the eyes, and then on the outline created more of a softer texture. And that was about it. Are there any questions to you?
Oh, no, we got them all.
Okay, good. So guys, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Stephen Adams, Derek, Nick, thank you for creating this platform for all of us to share. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a community, a culture, the Erojo brand that I feel very connected to, and I want to grow with it more. But I just can't wait to get out to work and take my classes.
Do you
So,
want to show
we'll
Donna a haircut?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay.
Look at that fringe.
We'll probably cut that a little shorter. I'm not sure yet, but that's it.
I'm happy.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And good luck, everybody. Yeah, good luck with opening.